Welcome to the Haygor Podcast show, the show where we talk with people and partners about the ins and outs of the industrial world. And our mission here is to hit on topics from a large spectrum that brings value to you. Today, we kick off this episode with someone who represents the heart of the industry, Colleen Enright from Kies Solutions, a woman-owned distributor serving the Gulf Coast with valves, instrumentations, and electrical solutions. Colleen works directly with operators, engineers, and decision makers who keep the facilities safe, compliant, and running. And she has a front row seat to what's really happening in the field. Well, welcome to the show, Colleen.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I want to kick this off. If you wouldn't mind letting us know, tell us a little about who Colleen is and about Kies Solutions.
Okay. I'm Colleen Enright. I started Kies Solutions in February of 2009 when the market was in a really bad place, but it was a great spot for me to jump out and do my own thing. I've always been oil and gas, marine, industrial, primarily valves, instrumentation, electrical components, and we've branched out into safety products, PPE, freeze protection, and other critical niche items that our customers have come to us with that have had a hard time finding. And so we've really branched out to solve more needs and provide better solutions for our customers that were struggling.
Yeah, and so we've been working with you guys for how long?
I don't even know, 10, 12 years?
10, 12 years. Awesome. And I know one of the things that was very cool for me, and again, I've already mentioned this when we were just introducing you, is that everyone in the company is a woman.
Except my driver.
Except your driver.
Yep, that's right.
All right, we got the driver. So the driver's keeping the women safe in the vehicles. That's awesome. So tell us. Was that on purpose or was that by design?
It's gone both ways. Yes, I'm a mom. Yes, I'm a business owner. But I probably shouldn't say this, but in the very beginning, when I was growing Kies, I could not have a bunch of moms out with babies at the daycare. So I had a lot of guys. And I did that on purpose because it's forklift driving. It's strapping down pallets, checking inventory, a lot of nasty things. I shouldn't say nasty, cut that. A lot of grimy things.
Yeah.
And I primarily had guys and one admin lady for many years. And then it just wound up shifting that my girls wound up being tougher than the guys. And
there we go. My wife is going to love hearing that.
Hey, like I said, it humbled me because as a woman, I had it flipped and my team proved the other way. My girls came in, they drove the forklift, loaded, unloaded, everything that was needing to be done. My girls rose to the occasion and did it. And so it just kind of over the years wound up flipping to being predominantly girls. I've got from 9, 8 down to 4 years of my girls, my teammates being with me. My driver just had his 2-year anniversary, I believe. But it was not by design at all. It just kind of surprised me and happened that way.
That's amazing. I love it. Now you were telling me that you guys just recently celebrated an anniversary.
In February, we had our 17-year anniversary. Yes,
17 years.
And next month in July, we'll have our 2-year anniversary in our new facility in Deer Park.
That's amazing. So tell me, you don't see a whole lot of women in this industry. So what got you into it?
I had a baby. And
Simple answer. You got
I had
have a baby in the oil and gas
industry. She just turned 26 last Friday, the 19th. And I had her, and I was a nursing school dropout, and I was waiting tables and cocktailing downtown at a lot of high-end Cabo and State Bar and places in downtown, and had a baby and had to get a life. And my friend was working for another valve company, and his buddy was opening another place, and so I was employee number 3, and started out as a receptionist making $12 an hour, hungry, and I learned the valve industry was an entirely new world to me.
Yeah.
I had no clue whatsoever. And so I just made it my mission to be a good asset to my boss. And to my boss's credit, he needed a good asset, so he helped make me be a good asset and taught me. He quizzed me, made me get up and go walk in the warehouse, made me spot identify, made me look and learn just by the shape of a gate valve, the shape of a globe, a butterfly, a ball. Just would quiz me. We're walking to go check inventory, and he'd say, "What's that? What material is that?"
So you guys would role play and go, like, he would take you through a whole scenario.
When we would go check stock out in the warehouse, because this was when email was brand new.
Okay.
This is when online, it was still AOL. It was still AOL disc, y'all. This is in 2000. We're in 2026. This was in 2000. I had never sent an email before I worked there.
I remember chatting on AOL. Everyone was on there late at night. I know I would be up there late at night, talking to my friends and my parents.
I had zero.
Zero?
I had, you used to get the free disc at like little festivals or Kroger or wherever. They would give out, like an hour of a disc.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what a purchase order was, a packing slip, bill of lading. I didn't know what any of that stuff was. Nothing. And very quickly, because he was a new business owner and had to get his business going, he was a great teacher, a little harsh in ways, but I'm thankful for every minute of it. He was very informative and engaging. And so when customers would call, this is when you were still faxing.
Yes.
Barely would you get an email inquiry. People would fax it over, or they would call it in. And so then we would go out and check stock. And so instead of me sitting at my desk, he would say, "Well, come with me." And so those are, forged steel gate valves. Those are welded bonnet valves. Those are butt weld. That's raise face. That's ring joint. And all the wafer style butterflies, lug, and just all the different stuff. And he was primarily valves. A needle valve was his instrumentation, the length of his instrumentation.
Okay.
But it was just mostly valves. And so to his credit, he taught me an entire industry. And I worked for him for 5 years. And in that 5 years, so I started out as office manager, got into inside sales, then got into outside sales. And by that time, I was 26 and had my son. And so I came back into inside sales and worked at that for a little while. And then I wound up going to another company that was a manufacturing company. And I worked for that company about from 05 to 09 when I quit, so a little over 4 years. And then I went to work for a very well-known distribution company here in town, and I worked there for almost a year. But in that time, they are very territorial, and they have their product lines that they only wanted to sell. Well, I had worked very hard growing my business and gaining confidence and gaining clients all over the country, when we were still doing business with Venezuela, Argentina, a lot of Mexico. So I had a lot of customers that company did not want anything to do with. So I started a business on the side, Kies Solutions.
You saw an opportunity and you took it.
Absolutely, I did. And so I handled my accounts and did everything that I needed to do for the corporation that was paying me. And I worked my incoming sales on the side. And call it what you will, it was wonderful for me. And when I had my fill of corporate America, I left and full-time Kies Solutions. Yeah.
It's not easy when you leave something so secure. You have a lot of, it's a safety net, and then you're jumping out on your own. You don't have that safety net anymore. No. Did that freak you out at all, or
no? I always knew I would own my own business. But I am a plant, green thumb, roses and plants kind of person. I always thought I would own a nursery.
No way.
I always thought I would own a plant nursery. And so that always was in my mind. And it's ironic that I sell 2 plants now, but not plants. I mean, it's so weird.
It's weird how the universe kind of manifested
Yeah.
that for you. You were thinking plants, but it wasn't the typical
Not
plant
that
you were
kind of
thinking.
plant. And I've always been very frugal. I've always been a very good steward of my funds, and I have always made a really good living. And so whenever I decided I'm done with this place,
I love it.
I had a really nice nest egg, and I know myself. Failure isn't and wasn't an option. I knew my strength, and I knew that as long as I'm out there beating bushes, kicking over rocks, I would get business.
Do you ever do you believe in like kind of just manifesting your own success?
I never
or
really
is that
heard all
was-
that till the last few years.
Really?
When did people start saying manifest?
It's becoming it's been a thing, but I think it's really hitting mainstream right now. Where you just because those are some of the things I'm teaching my daughter, my kids, because they're my daughter's a teenager. Everything is to her is like boring and stupid, but it's just changing that mindset of like you're gonna fail. It's okay, but know that you can turn anything into a great outcome.
I think if
You're
you asked my
a good
mom or my
example of that.
grandma, they would just say I was a hard-headed, difficult person. That I was always very driven, but not always in the way they wanted me to be. But for myself as a mom, as a wife, I wanted better for myself. And from my first boss, my second boss, and definitely my corporate America job, I learned what I liked, what I didn't like, what I could change about it, what could I do better, what did I have to do the same, billing, payables, but how do I treat my clients I could do different.
Yeah.
How do I respond I could do different. How do I show up for them at 6 o'clock at night, Christmas, Mother's Day, Easter, whenever the compressor went down, whenever the turbine was failing, whenever that project needed something after hours,
Yeah.
I could fill that gap and I could earn the confidence. Instead of chasing contracts, I've always chased the confidence. And in my belief, people chasing contracts do well, and that's wonderful. But the way I like to do it is to chase the confidence. I'm going to make money. I'm going to gain great partners. I'm going to have wonderful friends come out of those partnerships and those business relationships because I genuinely care about the confidence and the relationship, not just the PO coming in and the contract.
Yeah, I think that's what makes us, well, at least what makes Haygor so attractive in working with Kies Solutions, because that's exactly our mentality. We try to go above and beyond. We have these Monday every day. We have these meetings. At least I know with my team. Well, everyone in the department does this, where we have what scenario did we perform yesterday or this week where we've gone above and beyond for customers. And that's a huge game changer when you make yourself available to your customers, to your channel partners as well. And so that's something that we see eye to eye on.
And genuinely care.
Yes.
Our clients absolutely know we don't have a contract with them. I may have an MSA. I may be a preferred or a strategic vendor, but there's nothing locking us in. It is a preference to do business with us because we're going to be prompt. We're going to provide wonderful customer service. We're going to make sure we deliver the right product and do our best to deliver it by when they need.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes production schedules just don't allow, but we do our best to make sure that we've given them the best option. And that comes back 100-fold. A lot of our clients we've had whenever I was still an employee of another company. And from day one that I started Kies Solutions, they're the people that I reached out to. And it's the big players here in our area
Yep.
and national, worldwide companies. And vendors as well. The vendors that gave me credit knew I would dig ditches or do dishes or whatever it is I had to do to pay my bills. And my clients knew me from years and years, knew that I had the knowledge of their facility. I was willing to be taught and learn a lot of stuff I did not know or didn't even know existed, but I was teachable. And I wanted to fill that gap for them. I wanted to be that supplier for them. Anybody could go to some of these big multi-branch corporations right here in town, but they don't like to.
Yeah.
They don't like the service. they're not happy with the response time, waiting in line to will call. We always deliver everything for free.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of those things that I said, okay, well, what can I do differently? What can I do better? Deliver basically within the Houston area at no cost. I've got my own trucks. I've got my own trailers. I eliminate having an extra nickel on that invoice, and I eliminate the opportunity for a motor freight company or a hotshot carrier to damage my products. And so those were just little things like that that seem banal, that seem like no one cares or notices. I was looking for those. Mm-hmm. How do I do the same job better?
Is that something you also instill with your team, like
Very
with the
much
girls?
So. Very much so.
So do you also apply the same technique or of how you were taught? You kind of replicate that with your own?
100%. Actually, I will say more than 100% because I know so much more now. You know, when I worked at my very first job, I learned back of the house. I paid the bills. I answered the phone. I liaised with the IRS and our CPA. I learned how to run a business, the timely filings, the deadlines for all the filings. I didn't know what a balance sheet was or a P&L or EBITDA or any of
most
those
salespeople
things.
don't. Salespeople are like, we just got to see
Any
money
of
coming in the
that
bank.
stuff. But through that position, I learned the back of the house of a business, and I watched my boss run the front of the house, and the man had a wonderful business because he was great to his clients. That whole, you used to just think they're in their BS, but that's the relationship.
Yes, exactly.
And he did wonderful. And so I got to learn, with people coming in, business casual dress and just different things that I was foreign to. That wasn't where I had come from. And so then whenever I started, actually at my next job, I was much more informed and obviously much more into my career, not just being a brand new mom and a brand new employee in a new industry. I had gained a lot of finesse and knowledge. And so I did a much better job at that corporation. And so then when I started Kies, I instill into my team belief in themselves. You've got this. Keep it easy and simple is what Kies Solutions stands for. It's not, you're not recreating the wheel. You're not reinventing anything. You're just doing the same job better. You're putting a personal touch, a little bit faster response, a little bit of extra care, a little bit of extra attention, extra time on the job walk. Think of when you go to your doctor. It's changing a little bit more, but they want you in there and out of there in 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when I worked for my corporate America job, we had to do CRM. And they wanted you to make, 15 calls in a day and fill out your CRM. And I just thought it was the most unintelligent, asinine way of doing business.
Well, hold up. 15 calls in a day? Just 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would never do 15 calls in a day today.
You're not the type of person that would only do 15 calls. I think you'd be bored with just 15 calls.
I don't do 15 calls a day. As in not phone calls, but physical visits.
Okay.
In a day. And then fill out what you could have done. What did you talk about? What can you make? I think that is so unproductive. And I told my sales manager, Richard, you are wasting my time and y'all's money. I would be much more productive if I got to spend time with these people. Go do a job walk. Go walk the warehouse. Not only do you ask, man, what are y'all struggling with today? Or, hey, what are you having a hard time with? Go out there and look. Go see what they're doing. Because inevitably in that walk, that man appreciates you being there in boots and Nomex, going out there and seeing what his process is, seeing what the problem or the failure is. And along the way, oh, yeah, while you're here, Colleen, you know what? Do you have this diaphragm seal? Can you get me this gauge? Can you get me these valves? Do you know anything about these proximity switches? It inevitably leads to other business.
Yes. Yeah.
And so to me, my time is wisely spent right next to the guys in the field.
Yeah, because you can spot things that they don't see. Because that's your job. Your job is to spot leaks.
And listen to what they're doing.
Yeah.
Where is their primary source? I always ask, do you mind if I ask where you're getting this now? Or they're mad, they'll be grumbling. Well, so-and-so hasn't called me back. So-and-so hasn't delivered. Well, then it's fair to say, well, who is that? So then I know, okay, I'm up against X company. Oh yeah, you're, the same song and dance with Y company. And just by answering the phone, just by showing up for this person, I've already beat them. We've already outperformed company X and Y just because I put on my boots and I went out there. Whether it's, downtown corporate or any of the other corporate offices, same relationship, same attention to detail, and the same time, the same as wanting to be here with you today.
Yeah.
When you're too busy, when you have the contract, when you don't appreciate your customer, they feel it.
Yes. If you don't take care of your people, someone else will take care of them.
They see it.
Yeah.
You don't answer the phone, guess what? This is Houston, Texas. There's gas stations and oil and gas valve companies everywhere. And so if you don't earn their confidence, you don't get their confidence. You may have the contract. And when I worked at my corporate America company, it used to really incense me. I was outside sales. I'd be with a client. I'd call my inside group. They'd be eating bonbons and doing whatever they were doing. And I would say, hey, I'm on site. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh. I mean,
I don't know.
That makes me cringe.
It made me want to jump through the phone and steal their bonbons. It really was disheartening to have to go through that. Because here I am trying to be the face of a corporation, trying to earn their confidence, show them that we care about them, and they already had the reputation that they had, that they proved very well. And so it was just very difficult to walk into a client and not know if that quote had even been submitted because my inside person hadn't even responded to me. Did I even get that order? Like hey girl, we, got that order. I didn't even know. The communication, even with us as another arm of the corporation, was so negligent. We were not told, you got this order, hey, until the end of the month and you got your sales report. And so it was just very discombobulated.
And by that time, it's a little too late. Exactly.
I'd walk in and be like, hey, man, what y'all got? What's going on? Well, we just gave you, $200,000, Jamesbury valves. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Oh, cool. Thank you.
Speaking of headaches, I did have a question because I know you have boots on the ground. So with your customers, what are some of the biggest headaches you're seeing today?
Tariff charges there for a while.
Yeah.
That was a problem. People weren't sure how to categorize them. They weren't sure, that was a big issue. I don't really think there's any new problems these days. I think, you always have turnarounds in the spring. You always got fourth quarter people trying to finish out their year, get their budget. First quarter, we're dealing with freezes. Here we are, summertime in our area. We're always dealing with hurricanes. So it's the same pattern for me. It's the same pattern. I think what a lot of people are trying to figure out is how do we use AI? How do we integrate AI into our business? And that's something me and my team are dabbling with because we're never going to lose that personal touch. We're never going to remove ourselves from the human relationship that has been so integral to our business. But can we use AI in different ways that would help us do a better job for our customers?
I think 100% because we were at, just in April, we were at the MCAA event. And so that was a big key topic. Should we be worried about AI? And my thoughts were, and it's kind of on par with what they were talking about, was that no, it's a great tool, but that AI will never replace an actual human being that can actually walk you through solving problems, that could walk you through,
and pull on your experience.
Exactly.
I was there when that compressor got overhauled. I was there when that unit became trees to mud to a unit. And so AI can never replace that. And so we're trying to figure out, is it in reporting? Is it in researching what's obsolete? What has superseded it? How do we use that to benefit us? And a lot of the times now I'm very untechy. Thank goodness I have younger girls who are amazing, and they grew up in this era of emails and iPhones and all these things that we didn't, so they're already light years ahead of me. I lean on them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to hardly do Excel spreadsheets. I mean, I can do a spreadsheet, but beyond AutoSum, you lost me.
But that's your job is not to be the person that is telling them how to do things. Your job is to delegate their strengths to help grow the company.
And because they do have strengths that I don't.
Yeah.
Technology, as far as beyond basic, is definitely my weakness. And so I have my team that I can ask, how do you do this? Or how do you know, or can you do this for me? And can you teach me? And because it is something that they grew up with, they are light years ahead of me in doing that. And we, as a team, they teach me all kinds of things. I teach them things. And so right now, my use of AI is in my search bar. Just a little while ago, a buddy of mine was asking me for some Hastelloy ball valves. And I'm like, hey, is it Hastelloy B, Hastelloy C? Colleen, what's the difference? And so I had just left the port. And so I got on Google and I voiced, what's the difference in Hastelloy B and Hastelloy C? And so I screenshotted it. I said, hey, man, I'm driving, but here's the easiest way to get that to you. Boom, problem solved. He said, yeah, you know what? Hastelloy B or C will work. But instead of going to engineering, instead of digging through the specs, instead of looking at the job book to see what valve was in line before and why is it being replaced, how did it fail, is it leaking by the stem, or is it just washed out on the ball, or why is it being replaced? Mm-hmm. Simple AI search helped me get him an answer. We'll be delivering the valves tomorrow.
Did you also have AI formulate the email or response, or were you on the phone with them?
I screenshotted it to him.
Okay.
Just text it.
There you go.
Like, and just
Simple.
send it to him. And then we had some other questions, and I was like, all right, man, I need to know something else. Full port or reduced port, whatever else it was. But that is the extent of my AI usage. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not there yet. I'm not. I'm a wee tot in the AI legacy.
But here's the thing: there's a lot of people that won't even bother to deal with it. At least you're actually doing something to make it useful to you. Be more productive.
We just started an eBay store. It is something that we had wanted to do for years, and we just were busy and never did it. And that was on our 2026
mission plan.
Yeah, for 2026. And we recently got it up and going. And so that is something that we're looking at. We have so many different critical items that a lot of different facilities use. But it could be the City of Houston, the Marriott, one of the oil and gas clients, right? They use the same products. Same use sometimes. Could be a steam line, could be a gas line, could be just a cold water line, could be an eye wash station. How using AI to help us, recognize what else is on eBay and how much is it going for, and things like that. Like, where do we need to be priced? Because these are some of the items that we've had for a while.
Yeah.
They're slower movers. I ordered them in bulk. I may have imported them in bulk to meet a minimum, and I've still got them. So it's like, okay, let's move this material. And it may not be regular list with multiplier. As long as I can get it off my shelf, that's okay.
So customers can go to your website.
No, go to eBay.
They have to go to eBay.
We haven't linked them. We haven't.
Okay.
See, and that's the thing. We're so new to that. We haven't even linked it yet. So we just started it just to even be able to go to eBay, because we have MTRs. We've got the brand new. Everything is still in the box.
Yeah, because I was trying to find it here on your website and be able to see
Nope. We
not
just
yet,
did it.
But it will be there.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We also started a facilities construction division. And that is when you have an older building and you need a new kitchen. You need to paint the walls, repaint the tile, or redo the floor. A lot of our customers have older satellite offices or older...
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
They have older buildings that had asbestos. A lot of asbestos were in those buildings. So once the remediation was done and whatever had to be done by whoever that contractor was, we come in and do the build out. And that stemmed from customer need. That stems from a buddy saying, Colleen, do you know anyone who could do this? Or we were supplying, this sounds crazy, but when Exxon is buying something, they're going to buy it from someone. I used to often say, no, I'm valve instrumentation electrical. And a buddy of mine said, girl, you don't like money? Why?
Are you allergic to money? I sometimes like to ask people, are you allergic to money?
He straight up said, girl, you don't like money? And I was like, well, of course I like money. He said, well, then why? We're going to go through someone to procure this stuff. Why not you? And I thought, geez, what a dummy. Why not me?
Yeah.
And so we've gotten a lot into vendor managed, not consignment, but vendor controlled inventory. So it's on an as-needed basis. It's on a min-max system. Mm-hmm. We don't give anything for free and then come back and count. That's the best way to lose good friends and good clients because there's always a discrepancy. When I worked for my corporate America place, I had several accounts that were consignment. And as much as we loved each other and liked each other, it was always a sour grapes because it never matched up. And it's like, well, I know you had 40 and now you've only got 32 and I don't have the other 8. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, vendor managed inventory, that is something else that we're thinking of, can we use AI for that to help instead of just looking through our system for the min-max and the usage to be able to do a better job of the trend. Are they using more in the spring? Are they using more toward the end of the year?
Yeah, data research. Yes,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Or is it just, they're going to use 12 a year. They're going to use 87 a year. How much
that
tubing
would even
sell?
help you with your supply, what to keep on the shelf, or
absolutely,
yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so we're shall I say, communicating with each other of where do we think we can use it, and how do we integrate that into that process?
Yeah.
Not having a phone system that you got to press 3 for Colleen or 4 for sales, or leave a phone number and we'll call you back. We still want to be able to say, hey, Kies Solutions, and our team still be able to greet our clients when they call.
Yeah. So your story, I know you were a mom. You needed to find a solution for, a key solution. You had to find a solution for where you want to go and to make it in this world. My question is so unique because you're very different from a lot of other. You don't see women in this industry. What advice would you give to someone that is, especially a woman, want to come into this industrial industry with us?
Put your feelings away.
Okay. Why?
In the sense of, do you want to play softball or do you want to play patty cakes and Cabbage Patch Kids? There's 2 different ways of going about that. As a little kid, I was a tomboy. I've always been an angler. We were country kids. I did not want to play Easy Bake Oven. I did not want to play with Barbies. I wanted to be out having BB wars and sweet gum wars and building forts. And
were you that person that would get underneath the car with your dad and check out?
I started changing my own oil when I was 16 years old.
There you go.
Absolutely. My boyfriend's papa taught me how to change my own oil and dip my finger in the oil around the seal before you put the filter on. And absolutely. So to answer the question, you have to decide where do you want to fit in, because that's where you're going to fit in. If you are a nurse, if you're a teacher, or you're coming from a corporate setting, but you want to change, you really have to decide what you want to do. Because if you think you're going to leave a female-dominated industry and jump straight into a male-dominated industry without hearing cussing, without hearing the funny jokes, without blending in with the guys, you're going to be sadly mistaken, because it's just not how it is. Women who join the military, I think, is wonderful, but there's often that learning curve of, oh, this is really military. Well, yeah, it is. It absolutely is the Army. It absolutely is the Marines. It is not a school teacher. You're not in a hospital with a bunch of other nurses, and I think those are all wonderful. Like I said, I'm a nursing school dropout. Those are all wonderful careers, but if you want to get into the oil and gas industry, you really have to decide you want to be there, whether it's marine, industrial, whatever. If you want to be out here doing what we're doing, you have to make a wholehearted decision that you are going to run with the big boys.
Do you still think that this industry is still a strong career path?
Oh, amazing. I cannot imagine doing anything else. My daughter's my operations manager. Trinity's been with me. January was 9 years. She started coming in after co-op when she was 14 or 15 years old. She's grown up in this career, and she used to want to go be an FBI analyst because we're crime junkies, right?
Yeah, you were telling me about all the podcasts you follow. That's
Yes.
interesting. We had some good conversations behind
That's what she thought.
behind the scenes.
Well, I told her, I'll pay for you to go to whatever school you want, but you have to be decided. I'm not paying for you to go to college for 8 years not knowing what you want to do. I'm not paying for 13th grade or 14th grade. I'm not doing that. So I said, you're going to come to work. You're going to learn some skills. You're going to get yourself some work experience. And then when you decide you want to go do something else, I'll pay for it. Deal.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. She's still with me 9 years later. She loves the interaction with the clients. She loves she loves solving their problems. She loves providing the results. She absolutely takes pride in being accountable and not just saying,
That's
I don't
tough.
know, my boss. No.
That's
She
tough
takes
to
it
find
heart.
someone that's okay with
And I
that.
not just have my daughter, my accounting lady, Jessica, just had her 8-year anniversary with us. One of our admins, Kayla, I watched her mother and I met when both of our boys were playing baseball when they were 5 or 6 years old. So we've known each other all those years. And when Kayla got out of high school, she went and worked wherever, and she wanted another job. And I was a little, okay. But I believed in Kayla, and Kayla has absolutely risen to the occasion. She's amazing. I'm so proud of her.
Was that purposeful prospecting, or was it kind of accidental prospecting?
Accidental. Because I think she probably wanted to come work with us for about a year.
Okay.
And I just didn't think she was ready. And I think that was probably very wise because I think she's a year younger than Trini. And so same thing with my daughter. I was not her first employer. She wanted to come work with me, and I said, no way, Jose. You need to go work for someone else so you can figure out that everybody gives you money for task performed. There are expectations that have to be met for you to get a paycheck, and I'm not going to be the one that you think is a meanie. I made her go get a job at 14 years old, and I told her, baby, you have real nice taste. You need a job. I don't care if you babysit, tutor, walk dogs, pull weeds, wash people's clothes. I don't care what you do. You need to go get a job. She had a job within a week with the lady that does our embroidery, and she worked for her for 2 years until I think she got sick or whatever it was. That's when she came to work with me after co-op. Yeah. And so Kayla was going to be an attorney. She decided that she would much rather work with us and do what we were doing and build her career with Kies Solutions than continuing on with law school. I don't know. And so my goal to her, my advice to her is get into sales. That's how you're going to make money.
Yes. So I have a 14-year-old, and kudos to you for thinking that way and having them get some experience. Because, I mean, we have it's tough when you have a close relationship like that. You don't want that to really be their first experience, and all of a sudden it's.
When you do a real good job, it's demanding.
Yeah.
And it's not fun to be the parent of a employee child with all these demands that our clients put on us.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that would fracture our relationship. Absolutely. And because I enjoy my kid, there was just no way I was going to sour our relationship at such an early age.
And so my biggest kudos for you is you told her to get into sales. And I'm a huge believer in that. I mean, I started off in, I didn't know if I honestly came into it.
No one knows this industry exists.
Yes. And
We're
it's
not doctors, lawyers, teachers, firemen,
Yeah.
policemen.
But just sales in itself, sales will get you into anywhere. Especially if you put in time and effort, you'll find a place. And this industry too, we're having a lot of fun. So tell me, how's the relationship been between Kies Solutions and Haygor?
We appreciate you guys immensely. I'll tell you a little story. I met Matt years ago.
Okay.
At another client, and I was buddied with this guy, and we were just kind of talking about other clients and where was I going or whatever, I forget. And I said, hey, I need a contact over there. Well, Matt had a buddy over there, and he was so cool that he actually, not Matt, it was not Matt, I'm wrong. It was Matt's boss.
Okay.
Not to name names, it was his boss. And he gave me a contact. That contact turned into a $3 million a year account for me within 2 to 3 years, and has been an amazing account for us to this very day, all these years later.
So who taught you how to network? Because that's some networking skills there.
I was a waitress, bartending and waiting tables. I was a cocktail waitress in downtown, right when Enron and all that was going on. I worked at Slick Willie's downtown Bayou Place, Cabo State Bar, and those were very upscale. That's when downtown was coming up.
Yeah.
And it was very upscale. And I had a lot of regulars, and they would refer their friends to come into my station. And then if they had a party, a birthday party, a networking party, and we were right there in the theater district. So all the guys and gals that would come in from Jones Hall, from the Wortham, from Lancaster, all the theaters, a lot of them wanted to be in an Aerial Theater. Remember Aerial Theater, Bayou Place down there? They would say, you got to go to Colleen's section. And so I learned very, very early how to take care of people, how to anticipate their needs.
Yeah,
not just
you work for tips.
Not just schmoozing, but genuinely, what can I do for you?
They can feel that when you're,
Yes.
if you genuinely care.
Absolutely.
And then the money will come.
Yes.
You just got to care, and you got to, and it has to actually feel genuine.
I can't tell you how many plays, concerts, orchestras, all kinds of performances my clients would say, hey girl, we got some extra tickets, or they got family boxes, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
The theater workers and the performers, they get tickets. I used to go to so many shows, and it was a give and take. It was an appreciation. It was very much so an appreciation back and forth. They made me a lot. They gave me tips, and I made a really lot of money, and that's $2.13 an hour, right? It's what waitresses used to make. And I just loved what I did. I loved interacting with people. I loved having my regulars come in, see me whatever day it was, whatever season it was, bring me Christmas gifts, bring me cool things, give me cool tickets. Not just that I was their waitress, I was their buddy. And so absolutely blending into this business, watching my first boss and his gift of gab and his camaraderie with his clients, I was like, it's same tactics, different venue.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Relationship's a relationship.
Relationships.
Whether it's with a customer or with a spouse.
And you and I both have vendors that we wish we didn't have to do business with.
We
both have clients that you're kind of like, not very many, but it is. There's that vibe there. There's that, God, I wish I could buy this from somebody else, but I have to go to our company. And it's just the way it is. And our company doesn't care about you. Our company could care less if you ever called back. And that kind of is what I was saying earlier. The mere act of caring about their confidence, the mere act of calling them back or answering the phone, even just to say, Roy, I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back. Okay, cool. Something just like that, instead of calling them back 2 hours later or texting them, hey, I'm in a meeting. I'm in a podcast. I'll call you right back.
I can't tell you how often I appreciate if I call and I get an immediate text, hey, I'm on the phone. Can I call you back in 8 minutes? I try to make that an effort, because a long time ago I heard about this saying that not saying something is saying something.
Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And for me, the way utilizing my team and us genuinely being a team that works together, when you email us, all of my team is CC'd on that email. Everyone has their focus, but we're all in the solar system.
Yeah.
We're all around.
Because you always keep yourself accountable.
And if someone is at a doctor's appointment, someone's on vacation, someone's at lunch, if Roy calls, I don't want Roy to sit there for an hour unanswered. One of us will chime in and say, hey, man, we'll let you know ASAP. Hey, we got you. A simple response. Acknowledge. And it may take me 2 days, 2 hours, 2 weeks to get you a quote back from the factory in Malaysia or wherever it is, but I'm working on it. Every morning when we come into work, we have a task list. Every morning, as well as our driver route kind of pickup delivery list. So we all know kind of what's going on. Every afternoon, we try to do that list by 8:30. We really try. And I'll say Krista is amazing with it.
Shout out to Krista.
Total shout out. I'm telling you, I'm dropping names because I love my girls. They all make this happen, and they all earn my respect for them. By 4:30 in the afternoon, we try to have our end of the day list. What got handled. What is the exact status? Are we waiting on an answer from the client? What is the answer? Like, I don't just want waiting on Vanessa. What is Vanessa? What does she owe us? Is Vanessa verifying if it's Schedule 80, Schedule 40, 316, 304? What does Vanessa owe us? Or what do we owe? Where are we? Are we waiting on Haygor to get us an answer? What does Jesus need from us to get us an answer? So we have a very detailed morning list and a very detailed afternoon list. So we know at the end of every day and every morning, where are we? Mm-hmm. And we communicate with our clients. Hey, Roy, don't have you an answer, but we're working on it, just so Roy knows. Okay, they didn't forget about me, which our people know we didn't, but it's that comfort level. It's that confidence, because when they come in at 6 o'clock in the morning for their Monday morning or their whatever morning meeting, and their boss says, hey, what's the deal on that turbine? What's the deal on the boiler? And they're like, well, I don't know, Kies didn't answer. Or, you know what I mean, whatever it is. That's not us. In that morning meeting, their boss, the supervisor, the PM, whoever is involved knows, okay, Kies is going to have it to us by 9. Kies is still waiting on the fab shop. Kies is whatever it's in transit. Kies should have it Tuesday. Whatever the answer is, we have communicated that clearly, not vaguely. And so I think that is a confidence builder, because it's a really cool thing when your customers send you Christmas gifts.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's a really cool thing when your customers, from upper management to the floor guy that's the pumper or the guy that's sweeping the floor or washing the trucks, when they say, thank you so much. We all love when you guys come around. Thank you so much for taking care of us. Roy has the utmost confidence in you guys, Colleen. When we sit down for our meetings and he's going over this and this and this, and I say Kies is going to have it, Roy doesn't worry about it anymore. To me, that is what we get up and go to work for. That's the confidence that we're chasing, not the contract. We want that. Man, you guys do such a great job.
And you guys definitely hit it out of the park. And I want to commit, again, I'm giving you all these compliments, but just you could feel it whenever you guys were here and you guys were touring our facility. You guys are a family, and you could see the confidence you had in your girls that's at the office.
I need to make sure I give Jessica a shout out, because Jessica's our accounting lady, and she keeps all the bills paid, keeps our vendors happy.
Let's go, Jessica. Good job.
She makes sure that everybody knows, hey, because we pay every Friday, every single Friday. If for some reason it's at 32 days, okay, it's because it wasn't on that. And everyone. She has a great camaraderie with all of our vendors as well as our clients, because she's the one answering, she's the one asking. So Jessica keeps us in the pocket and makes sure that anytime we need a large order, a small order, an afternoon order, no one ever says, well, y'all going to pay in 30 days? That's just not something we
I love
face.
your voices that you...
Well, hey, when I worked for my first company, I was that person calling, hey, where's payment? You're at 40 days, 70 days, 100 days. Mm-hmm. I was that person. And it's a tight line to ask somebody for business and also have to ask them for their late payment. You got to have finesse.
Yes. There's a certain dance to it.
Yes.
You can't just come right out.
Hey, I want your business, but do you know that you're 60 days late?
Yeah. You still want people answering your phone calls.
Yes.
You just don't blitz them. Yeah.
No. And you got PMs and you've got engineers and you've got techs and you've got people who don't know that corporate hasn't paid you. And so there's just a whole lot of different things that go into that relationship. And we again, to give Jessica credit, she's the one who just had her 8 years. Everybody has their focus, and everyone does an amazing job at their focus. But whenever we have ships come into harbor for hurricanes, we're all out there loading groceries in coolers, strapping them down to pallets, and loading them on 18-wheelers. I mean, when it's go time, and she's an accounting lady, but I guarantee you she has all of us have our tennis shoes on, and we're dry goods, hygiene products, whatever it is that we're trying to get to the port for our ships. Every one of us are out there participating in getting this stuff loaded and off of our property. No one says, well, that's not my job, or it's too hot. We don't do that.
No.
Everyone's all hands on deck.
Yeah. Well, Colleen, I've really enjoyed your story. It's been fascinating. How can people find more about you and Kies Solutions?
Well, we are on Pasadena Boulevard at Center Street in Pasadena, right here in Deer Park, if you want to stop on in. But we're also on the web at www.kiessolutions.com, Kies Solutions.com. Like I said, we just started our eBay store as well, which that'll be different items. Our phone number, of course, is 281-474-2255.
And we'll enter that in the section below if you guys are watching the show. But Colleen, thank you so much for joining us on our podcast here at the Haygor Podcast. If you guys like to learn more, we're going to be doing more of this online, maybe live. Who knows? We'll see. But be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
We're honored to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for inviting me over.
Awesome.